lately, I just don't know what to listen to. Like, I could listen to absolutely anything, but I don't. Sure, there's all kinds of playlists. Spotify even has a new AI DJ feature, but that's not what I'm looking for. Lately, I have this deep feeling to just run in the exact opposite direction. So here's what I'm doing. For 1 month, for the month of June, I'm listening to music exclusively through an iPod. Alright, stop. Wait. It's me from the future, alright? Specifically 3 weeks into this little experiment. Look, I thought I was making just a fun video where I would listen to music through an iPod for a month. Thought it was gonna be one video, and I thought it was gonna be super easy. Instead, it changed my life in several major ways. So this is going to be a series of 4 videos. It'll include my own personal experiences, interviews with people much smarter than I am. This thing, it got so much bigger than I thought it would be. And all of this has presented a new problem for me, the version of me that's 3 weeks into this experiment. And as of publishing this video, I still don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how week 4 is going to end. This is a 5th generation video iPod. It was originally released in 2005, though this is not my original iPod. That one died years ago. Apple doesn't repair them anymore, and sure, you can fix it yourself, but I can't imagine how complicated that is. I got this one on eBay for like $100. This has a new battery, a new 80GB hard drive, and a new faceplate and click wheel. I've also got my iPod headphones. iPods don't have Bluetooth, so my AirPods are useless. Now it's time to delete some apps. I won't be needing Spotify anymore, or Apple Music, or Tidal. Yes, I subscribe to all 3. I use them for different things, and I don't want my algorithms mixing. You know what I mean? This feels like I'm unbundling the music function out of my phone. I sorted through years of unorganized hard drives and bought a USB-C to 30-pin iPod cable and managed to get some music on my iPod. It still syncs through iTunes, though you have to re-enable the iTunes store in settings if you want to buy more music. The reason I'm in New York is because I am DJing a wedding today. I'm contracted through another company. These people have no idea who I am, but I have just loaded up the gear and I have encountered 2 problems. For one, take a look at this. Where is the aux input? You want to connect a phone? No, I don't want to do that. I want to wire in an aux. Can we do that? Where I'm DJing today is way out on Long Island. I just checked the traffic and it says it's going to be about a 2-hour drive. And I'm not going to be able to listen to music because there's no aux in the car. I don't want Bluetooth. I don't have Bluetooth. I'm beginning to think this was a bad idea. The other problem, a bigger problem than me not being able to listen to music on this drive, is that the DJ controller that I have here to use, it's only USB-A. That's the regular USB, and my computer takes USB-C. So I gotta get a converter on the way, otherwise I won't be able to DJ at all. This one cable has the potential of ruining these people's night. Just like one cable is ruining my drive right now. I can like sing a song or something. I could beatbox. Oh, it's been a long time since I beatboxed. Do you have any FM transmitters? I know that's kind of old tech, but no. All right, thank you. I just unloaded and set up at the wedding. Right when I unloaded, the catering guy comes over. He's like, "Oh, Mr. DJ, huh? All right." And we get talking, and he tells me that he used to DJ. And he's like, "I got those Technics, huh? Yeah, I made my own speakers. Would you believe it?" He really did not quite talk like that, but it... We're in cocktail hour right now. We just finished the ceremony, and this guy comes up here, the catering guy, right? We get talking again. We're talking about music. He's telling me about all the old New York clubs he used to DJ in, and like we're talking music. It's a really cool conversation. Then he goes, "Hey, what's your name again?" And I said, "Oh, my name's Brandon." And I said, "You're Steve, right?" That's what I thought his name was. And he goes, "No, my name is Chef." And I said, "Wait, but are you the kid?" And he goes, No. I'm the father of the bride. This is my house." So it went great. Here's what happened. So the reception starts and it goes great. They had requested almost exclusively disco. I also got a ton of requests. And this is the part where I tell you that I cheated just a little bit. I actually did stream some music. Tidal integrates directly into Serato, which is what I was using. And I have most of the stuff just on my computer, but some of the stuff I hadn't heard of. But then later in the night, Chef comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I need you to play a song." I go, "Yeah, absolutely, whatever you need." He says, "I need Tavares." What? Heaven Must Have One Less Angel? What's the name? Heaven's Angel. I know it's Tavares. Heaven probably has one less angel. I should have written it down. I'm going to Google it later. I tell you that. Tavares Angel. Something with angel. There's these soaring strings. They just grabbed me. You know I'm a sucker for strings. I loved it. And like the thing is if I had my phone, what I would do right now on this drive home is do a deep dive into deep cut disco songs that I don't know. But I can't do that because for one, my iPod doesn't have the internet. And then for two, there's no aux in the U-Haul. So So before streaming, right, we had to buy CDs or albums or cassette tapes or just buy stuff on iTunes. And do you remember how that felt? I was around before the internet, so I remember how that felt. And it's kind of hard to describe to someone who wasn't there. I don't know, you have a sense of ownership over the music. For one, because you spent actual money on it, so like it hurt a little bit. Also things like trying to open a CD jewel case, huge pain, and that friction makes you appreciate the music more. And now Spotify, there's so much music and there's no friction. And I think that's a good thing, but that presents a problem. You can't sort through 100 million songs all by yourself. You need help, and that's where the algorithm comes in. If you liked this song, you're probably gonna like this song. If you like this album, you're probably gonna like this album. But if you only ever hear music that you like, is that a good thing? So I've been reading this book by Kyle Chayka. He's a staff writer for The New Yorker covering technology and culture. The book is called Filter World: How Algorithms Flattened Culture. He talks about the history of algorithms and how now algorithms have a massive influence on nearly every aspect of our lives, especially the way that we consume and interact with culture. This book was so fantastic, I had to call up Kyle to talk to him about it. So you talk about in the book the old way of consuming culture and it being full of friction. We had to choose more carefully the things that we're consuming, and now there's so many things, it's like the paralysis of choice.
Every new thing is now competing with the entirety of culture that has existed before it. So it's like, on Spotify, you can either listen to a new track from some new artist, or you can listen to literally any other song that has ever existed and is licensed. In order to keep your attention and like attract you enough, a new piece of culture has to overcome that competition from everything else. And so it seems to privilege the things that are the most attention grabbing and the most like addictive in a way. I think a law of Filter World that I describe in the book is like what's already popular gets more and more popular, and what is
Yes.
already obscure gets more and more obscure. I think algorithmic feeds eventually route you toward the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
So if Spotify is playing for long enough, eventually it's going to get so conservative and so safe that it's just like the thing that everyone is okay with, or the thing that works the best for your category of user.
Along with that, you talk about in the book the rise of ambient culture and stuff that can be ignored because it doesn't have much individual significance. Do you see a place for that kind of ambient culture background?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love ambient content. like I definitely am critical of it in the book, but I think there's a great role for it in your life. Like I think background music is good. I think Brian Eno, who coins the phrase ambient music, his original definition was something that's as ignorable as it is interesting. So you can either ignore it or you can pay attention to it, and it rewards attention. The problem with ambient content for me is when too many things are ambient. Like if everything has to be ambient, that's terrible for culture.
Yes.
That's what is prioritized right now.
Let me ask you about taste. So you talk about the importance of taste, which requires things like being deeply felt, time to engage with it, and surprise, which all are counter to the goals of an algorithm. What can people do to practice developing your own taste surrounded by all of these algorithmic platforms?
Taste is a kind of labor also. Like it's something you have to put work into, cultivate intentionally. What comes after that is just cultivating something like a collection or a library or an organization of things that you like. It could be a library of books, it could be an art collection, it could also be playlists on Spotify.
Could be an iPod.
It could be an iPod, yeah.
So how do you balance listening to stuff that you love listening to and stuff that you don't necessarily like but is interesting or provokes you? Because I love that idea that like it's not necessarily, you're not supposed to like everything. How do you seek those kinds of things out?
I mean, for me, the balance comes from those like human curators who are doing the work of organizing culture for me. Like I don't know enough about music to know what to look out for. So when I'm listening to someone's DJ set or like a radio show, and I know that they've like curated this really interesting mix of music, I'm much more likely to sit with the songs and be patient and not just skip to the next thing.
With that, you mention in the book Awakening by Hiroshi Sato, which is I'm not familiar with. I love that you then practice what you preach and you give a whole history of the scene. And do you have any other, like, if you got like one album that you would recommend?
The Hiroshi Sato album is like really great, I think, and to your point, it is an album. But I was just listening to before we started recording this short album by Pharoah Sanders, who's a jazz musician. That album is called Harvest Time. I was just going back to that track and remembering how much I liked it.
Kyle and I talked for about 45 minutes. Our full conversation is on the podcast and the video on Digging the Talks. I highly recommend his book, Filter World. It puts words to a lot of how I've been feeling. We're just passively moving through modern life, taking in content and accepting whatever's given to us through an algorithm, whose intention is not to provoke or inspire, but just to keep you on the platform a little longer. I woke up on Sunday morning to this notification. I spent almost 7 hours a day on my phone this week, and none of that was listening to music. I've been on Instagram since 2010, a year before Spotify launched in the US. I spent almost an hour on Instagram every day, and I can't tell you a single photo or video I saw. It used to be social media, but now it's more like quick entertainment with a comment section. How is this algorithm affecting me? I'm gonna take this a step further and leave Instagram for the rest of the month too. I'll have more time to listen to music, and I don't think I'll miss that much. Instead, I got this camera. It's like a disposable camera, but it's digital. Point and shoot, no screen, no settings. So I'm also unbundling the camera from my phone. It's only been a week, but I'm feeling good about this iPod month. It's taken some getting used to, and there are challenges, but I feel like... Hold up, I just got back to my car and something crazy happened. I just opened up my glove box, right? So ignore all the registration and extra Starbucks napkins and stuff. Look at this little orange tab. What is this orange tab here? Let's pull it. Oh my God. That is a 30-pin cable for an iPod. This car is a 2010 and I had no idea that was in there. I have no idea if it will work. Okay, the car is on. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes! How naive. Would you look at me? Week 1 me has no idea what's coming. No idea the hole he's digging for himself. The hole that I, week 3 me, find myself in now. But after talking to Kyle and reading Filter World, I understood more about how algorithms affect what we see, what we consume. But then I started to think, how do algorithms affect what gets made in the first place?
It's so hard to the people that have chosen to engage with you sometimes.
Yes.
It is so hard to still reach them.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
This is so sick.
If you could recommend one album to put on my iPod.
I gotta ask this guy a question. He's out here filming content. He's on the clock right now. He's on the clock, and I got a gig question, and he's asking her about her album.
No, they're not showing people your videos. They're not doing it. Let me be the one to tell you.
This is the same company that made my beloved iPod, and I just have zero interest in this.